All right. Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. You can see today behind me, spring has finally sprung, and part of spring, and probably the most important part of spring, if you are a fan of Mountain Stream Teas, and what Mountain Stream Teas likes to do is the floral teas. And the floral teas are arriving. They are arriving. So the floral teas are arriving. So also, too, I got in the Mutza competition tea, which I'm going to brew in this beautiful teapot here. There's teapot news, a bunch of different things going on, which we can talk about. And it is now time to throw the teas in here. Thank you, everybody, for buying tea the last couple of days. Obviously, you guys are awesome, and thank you very much for buying those teas. Thank you very much for the support. I guess I usually do it for an extra day or two. So if you still want 10% off those new teas that I released on Sunday, the code is welcome. So just use the code welcome until probably like I don't know what day. I think it's Saturday. Anyways, for the next 24 hours or so, it should be still up and running. Also, too, I kind of forgot about it. I mean, I probably should have warned people about it, or probably not done another like 10% tea release thing. But remember, the big sale is coming up. So the big sale, the biggest sale of the year is coming up very, very, very soon. So the biggest sale of the year is the 20% off sale is the 20th of March. And so the 20th of March is coming. And so on the 20th of March, there will be 20% off of everything in the store. Everything in the store. Code is Rose. Did I not say Rose? Did I say something else? Yes, the code is Rose. Sorry if I said something else. But there's going to be a 20% off. None of those tea. Well, the teas that we're going to sell out have already sold out. So the tea boxes. Basically, I was just selling the boxes. The tea in it is quite good, but I mean, obviously, it was a little bit overpriced just for that much tea. But you get the box, and I try and do that once or twice a year. But that is sold out. But all the other teas are fine. So if you want to get 20% off, then wait like a week, and you can get 20% off for the rest of the teas. So don't worry about it too much. Okay, so what do we got here? This right here is the classic. This is the classic. So this is the Orange Blossom Oolong. So the Orange Blossom Oolong, bought a bunch of it. So the Orange Blossom Oolong is ready to go. And so the Orange Blossom Oolong, I'll have it for sale I'll have it for sale for the sale. And so the Orange Blossom Oolong will be ready to go for the sale. And what are the other two? So this right here, this is the experiment. And I'm a little worried about this one. Now, I haven't had it yet. I haven't actually had any of these yet. I'm a little worried about this one because my buddy said, I guess it was okay, but I don't know whether it was really good, blah, 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 blah. He was like a little bit off about this one. Now, this, of course, is the Louis Red with orange blossoms, right? So the Louis Red with orange blossoms. And so this one here, anyways, we're going to try it. We're going to see. It certainly doesn't smell bad, but he said it didn't really hit as well as this one or as well as this one. This is theirs. So this is just one they did. This is the Orange Blossom Honey Fragrance Oolong as well. So we'll try this one out and we'll see if it's any good. We'll see how it goes. Also, what else are we going to do? Yeah, there's the Faux Show Winter, the Dom Pien, this one here, which... Anyways, if I got time, I'll try that, but I'm definitely going to go for this. But this is the competition tea from Mutza. Somebody's asking about this on the Discord. This will be, I mean, I hope it's not too expensive, but I'm definitely going to be getting this one as well. Right, I'll be waiting a week. My workman's comp is screwed up, and I haven't gotten paid yet. Well, Byzantine bureaucracy, I'm sure, is what you're dealing with now, which sucks. which sucks. But hopefully everything goes okay with that. Everything goes okay with that. Okay, so let's go. Let's do this. So first, this is, every year I get this tea, every single year. And it's just, it's one of the classics. Now, a funny story. Last year, it didn't really sell out as fast as I thought it should have. And then I realized that my product description actually had put 2023, not 2024, like on the title. So I sold it for like 8 months before I realized, hey, wait a minute. So in the bottom and on the package, it said 2024, but then on the title, it said 2023. And like, it took like a couple months for somebody to tell me about it. And so it didn't sell as fast as I thought it was going to sell. But that was my fault. That was my fault for sure. So here we go. Just normal. It's the same old, same old. You like the orange blossom stuff? Then this is the orange blossom stuff. This is, a really high quality oolong, a Jinchuan oolong, and it's just nice. Now, this here will get better with age, right? So this has only been, I think they did it like 2 or 3 days ago. So they only did it like 2 or 3 days ago. So this, like the flowers are with the teas, and it will just be going and get better and better. The aftertaste is that orange creamsicle beauty. The orange blossom makes a great cold brew. It does. The orange blossom makes an amazing cold brew. Every year for the subscription, we always do the cold brew winners. I think we're on the 5th or the 6th year of the cold brew winners, and this one always jumps in. This one always gets into the cold brew winners, always, just because it just works out so well, especially as a cold brew. Now, no one has asked yet. I mean, we're only a couple minutes in. Pomelo is not done yet. Now, orange blossoms, again, I had no idea, but orange blossoms they're first, and then the pomelo blossoms go later. Now, I mean, now I know this, but I did not know this before I came to the beautiful island of Taiwan and lived on the east coast of Taiwan. But orange blossoms are first, and it's not until next week or maybe even next week, depends on the weather. Right? As you can see behind me, spring is finally here, finally. But I don't know when it will be, when all the flowers will come out. But probably around the 20th is what my buddy was saying. He's banking on the 20th for when he's gonna do the pomelo flowers. So it might not be available for the sale. This will be available for the sale. This will be on the site for the sale, but that one might not be available for the sale. The pomelo flowers might not be available for the sale. And if you're a fan of that tea, I mean, generally speaking, if you're a fan of milk oolongs, that's a great one. Are the orange and pomelos both done with Jinchuan? Yes. Yes, they are. Except for this one. This is actually Qingxin, which is, I think, why my buddy was saying he didn't think it worked out that well. All right, here we go. We're going to try it out. We're going to try this out. We're going to try this out and see how it goes. Again, this was the experiment. Now, I actually did a lot of it. So if it didn't work, hey, man, how's it going? So if it didn't work, right, if this didn't work, then, well, it's going to be cheap because I still got to sell it. So it'll be sold for cost. So I hope this works. I hope this works. But basically what happened with this one was I wanted to support a partner farm, the Louye Red partner farm, and their wintertime tea wasn't the best. It was okay. Like if you had the Louye Red, the wintertime Louye Red, it's not bad. It's not like it's terrible. It's okay, but it's not as good as I wish it was. And I'm sure the springtime tea this year will be better. So I bought a bunch of it to support them, and then I took half of it and I put it, and we did this with the orange, and let's see how it goes. Let's try it. Here we go. I can definitely see why my buddy was like, this didn't work. I can definitely see why my buddy said that. Now, why would he? there's a huge difference between the Western taste point and the Eastern taste point. And the Eastern taste point, one of the things that people really do not like is sour, swan. They do not like anything sour, right? So they just don't like it. Sourness is just not a part of the culture here. Whereas in the West, sourness has always been a part of the culture. It's just a thing. So, for example, here, swan, they use that word for like vinegar, right? So vinegar is really sour. Whereas in the West, you'd be like, you wouldn't really use vinegar for sour. You'd be like, I guess you could, but it's generally speaking not really used in that context, in that sense. And here, what you're getting with this tea is the orange blossoms are actually a little bit sour. Just a little bit. And I don't think this is, I definitely see why my buddy was like, no, I don't know if you'll like it or not. But it's fine. Now, I'm not going to release this right away. And the reason I'm not going to release this right away is because those flowers have to sit with this tea for a little bit longer. Now, when you're looking at the greener teas suck in the flower juice much better, right? So the greener teas are just like, and they just do a really good job sucking in the flower juice, the scent. I guess it's not really a juice. You could argue it's a juice. Anyways, they suck it in really well. For the darker teas, it takes a lot more. It takes more flowers and it's harder to do. And so this was done like 2 days ago. And so I'm going to let it sit for at least another 2 or 3, 4 weeks. And I'm not going to vacuum it. I'm just going to let it sort of sit in sort of not a hot place, not a cool place, sort of in the middle, sort of room temperature, springtime area, airtight, and all those flavors are going to mix together and they're just going to go like this. And it's going to be beautiful. And there might be a little bit of a tartness in there, which again, for the local market is not something they would ever want in a tea. But for the Western market, they know that it's a floral tea, and some people actually kind of like the tartness. Chi Lai Shan Oolong, for example. And see, with the second steep, the reddish oolong is becoming sort of the dominant flavor in there. And I'm going to leave it until it cools down and see what happens with that. But I really do think that it'll be great. It'll be great. It will not be a failed experiment. I don't know whether it's going to be great. I don't know whether I'm going to say it's going to be the best ever, but it's not going to be a failed experiment. That is for sure. Now over here, this is their stuff. So this is, these were my teas. Now this is their teas, and they've come in and they've done it themselves. And right away I can see that this is one of the, right? So this is one of their, you see when you see something like this, right? This is just like a piece of wood like this. You're looking at a machine cut tea, right? So when you're seeing that, and so they're using one of their teas from another time. Anyways, whatever. Let's see if it's any good, and we'll see what the price is. But I mean, this was my choice. This is their choice. So no, we'll see how it goes. If it's really good, we'll see. And that's the thing. It's so hard to get the floral flavors into the higher oxidized teas. The red oolongs, the roasted teas. Actually, some of the roasted teas, there's a couple that worked really well, but hit and miss. And this one's okay. It's okay, but it just doesn't have that floral really blast that the greenish oolongs have. And that's why, every year we do the greenish oolongs. There's one year, I think maybe 3 years ago, when my buddy in Raceway, he got these fancy machines. So these machines they're huge. They're the size of like industrial freezers, huge things. And what they do is a mix between roast and dehumidify. And so they're perfect for scenting teas. So they go like this, and it's the heat is very, very low, but instead of it like rotting the tea, it actually sucks out the moisture. So it does both of that, and that's why it works so well. It's basically specifically designed for stuff like this, and it works really, really, really well. And this is okay, but just to jump back into this, it really is. It's the greenish oolongs that get the orange. It really, really, really gets the orange. Like, just brings the orange, brings it out fully and in a lasting way. Not too much to be done about that, but overall, this tea right here, I can't complain. It's okay. It is okay. It is fine. Let's jump over into this tea right here. So actually, we don't need this anymore. Well, I guess we can drink some of that and put it over there. So, the aftertaste, the orange mixed with the oolong aftertaste is just so good. And these are sort of the higher oxidized teas are sort of missing that a little bit. Anyways, I just got in a bunch more of the Dragon's Eye charcoal and the Golden Mutza teas. So those just came in, and I got, a couple samples actually. And actually, why don't we do, I got a couple samples of teas. And one of them was this. When I was there, I went to go visit, and my buddy was roasting. He's a roasting master, right? This is his thing, right? So this is in Mutza, right? So Mutza is about roasting. That's what you do in Mutza. That's their their specialty. And this particular tea right here, I'm just gonna sort of show you what's interesting about this one. This one here is a faux show, like Buddha's hand. So it's got a great big old hand, big old leaves. Excuse me. And when I was there, he was roasting this tea, and it was amazing, just amazing. The smell of this tea wafting around was just spectacular. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I'll just sort of describe this tea to you. I tried it yesterday, and I don't think I'm going to get it. And we can talk a little bit about why I don't think I'm going to get it. And but basically what it boils down to is very, very skilled roasters can take a tea that is mediocre and roast it and make it better than mediocre. And that's sort of what this is. And I kind of feel bad about it, because I wish it had better legs. But we'll talk about it in a second. I wish it had a better aftertaste. But I'll probably get the price and ask as well. But as you can see, I don't talk all that much anymore. It's springtime season, and I kind of feel bad about it, right? Because we're in springtime season, and there's a lot of people coming to Taiwan, and I'm getting emails from people saying, can I come and visit? Do you have a storefront? Things like that. I did that for 10 plus years, and I'm on my second year of taking a break from it, and I'm really enjoying taking a break. So it's not personal, right? It's nothing personal. It's just I've really enjoyed being an introvert, an unapologetic introvert for the last I guess about a year since I moved here. Now, what I'm thinking is, if we don't get the apocalypse of various kinds, probably not. Well, not obviously not this year, but probably next year I'll do a springtime trip, and I'll take, I don't know, like maybe up to 8 people on a trip through Taiwan if people are interested in something like that. But until then, and until I can find myself a nice storefront, unfortunately, I am just doing me. Just doing me. I'm not doing anything else other than just me. But let's jump into this tea. Now, sorry. I think what it might be too is to my youngest's great chagrin. The Hopkins family bloodline, or certainly mine anyways, has some hay fever. And so right now my boys are getting a little hay fevery. And so I think that might be what's going on with me as well right now. So what are we looking at with this tea? This tea is the competition tea from this area. Now, I've had some people on the Discord, somebody was asking me about this yesterday. Is the Mutsa competition Tieguanyin coming in to stock this year? And I went up at New Year's and I saw my friend and chatted with him. And you can see right here, this has got a number 3 on it, right? So this has got the 3. So the competition number 3. And this is a pretty amazing tea. And it's a pretty amazing tea because when you're looking at somebody like that who does his tea as well, spectacularly high quality as this fellow, and he just does his tea just amazingly well. Whenever he does the competition tea, he doesn't really sort of quote unquote believe in the competition tea. He doesn't think that if he gets the competition winner, then he feels better about himself, because he knows it's all politics, and he knows that right now the guys who win the competition do it by mixing up a bunch of different cultivars and coming up with a really strange sort of flavor that only they have. And he sort of doesn't play that game, right? He doesn't really play that game. He just does sort of high quality stuff. And last year, his tea was good. People had it. It was a pretty affordable price, actually, for what it was. Decent. But it wasn't, like a winner. Whereas this one, it's got some blueberry. So it's got blueberry in it. It's got like roasted blueberry flavors in it. And I guess I don't think I used enough in here, but that's okay. And I had it yesterday and I was like, wow, this is really good. And we'll see what the second steep is doing, but almost without a doubt, I'm going to get some of this tea no matter what the price is, because it's really, really good. If you're aware, do you think Mutsa Tieguanyin producers still incorporate the traditional processing step of cloth rolling mixed with letting it sit covered for a low heat baking to help impart that fruit acidity, guanyin charm? You are asking an extremely specific question, and I could try and BS you, but I don't think I've asked that question before. I don't know. I don't know. I could say, well, yes, of course they do, because if it's not, then the blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Now, what I will say is that taste note that you are talking about sort of is created by what's going on in Mutsa, right? So Mutsa is such a unique place because it's got such a huge history. Oh, hey, that's one of the Mirage 2000s. You can see it there on the got a longer nose. Again, totally normal. Mutsa is this really fascinating place that's got this mix between. Yeah, I didn't put enough tea in there, but that's okay. History and tourist fluff. And so when you're getting that acidic, fruity flavor, the note that comes in with the Tieguanyin, you can actually create that same note with the Jintren. With the Tieguanyin, it's more. And most of the tea that gets sold in Mutsa is they just roast the crap out of it, right? They just turn up the heat, and they just turn it into toast. And so when you're tasting most of the teas that you get in that context, it's awful. And so when you're really sort of bringing out that note, which is what you're describing, right? What you're describing is bringing out that note. For sure, he's doing something like that to bring out that note, right? He's doing something like that is different than the Dongding processing style, right? Different than the Dongding processing style. And without a doubt, he's doing something like that. Now, is he doing that specific thing that you were talking about, right? So that technique of the cloth rolling, letting it sit covered over a low heat. Like, I could tell you all the various, I won't tell you where it is, but I'll tell you one of like the most famous, most famous. Anyways, generally speaking, the most high quality tea we have on the site. If you know, you know. What he does when he's making the oolongs is he actually has a cooler, and he will, after the kill green phase, so the tea will be coming out, and then it comes out, and then he will actually put the tea in a cooler, close it up, and he'll put it in the cooler for an indeterminate amount of time. It's a secret. I'm not telling you the amount of time. And then he'll pull it out. And when he pulls it out of the cooler and then brings it for the next steps for the rolling phase, that tea is actually dripping wet because the steam gets in there and it sort of rolls it around and it gets dripping wet. And then he goes to the face. Now, that is not something you're supposed to be doing when you're making a high mountain oolong. You're just not supposed to do that. Other people will, after that phase, they'll roll it, right? They'll put it in a cloth bag, and then they'll sort of heat it. Like my buddy in Ray Tray, what he'll actually do is he'll actually add water to it and let it sit in a little bit above. They'll heat the room a little bit, and he'll let it sit in there, and to bring out some of the fruit flavors. So what you're describing, what you're talking about, everybody does it a little bit differently. In Mutsa, they do create these extra little, things to bring in the Mutsa flavor, which is, again, that sort of acidic-y, fruity thing. I was going to say it sounds like a shortcut and to do quick high roast versus the slow roasting over 1 to 2 days. Well, of course, right? Of course. And, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but you can look it up yourself. Taiwan imports hundreds of tons. Oh, is it hundreds of tons? Anyways, dozens upon dozens of tons. I don't know whether I think it's hundreds of tons of light oxidized Vietnamese oolongs. You can look up the statistics. It's brutal. It's brutal. Many, 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 many tons. Many, many, many tons. And so oftentimes, if you just get a low quality but mediocre mid-range Vietnamese passable oolong, what do you do? You roast the crap out of it, and you pass it off as Mutsa, right? When you look at Vietnam, China, not in India, but Africa, New Zealand, you don't have to scratch the surface very long before you find a Taiwanese tea master. And a lot of those Taiwanese tea masters, they'll actually send their tea back and have it roasted in Taiwan, roasted to a crisp or toasted to a crisp or burnt to a crisp, and pass it off as Taiwanese teas. The more I hear you talk about individuals who put their spin on a given tea during the processing, the more I realize how traditional steps are only guidelines. Traditional steps are a version of gatekeeping. Anyways, I believe in the holographic universe, and I believe in the thing that is, every single person in the world who is good at what they do knows what the traditional way of doing it is, and then gets pushback from the guys who do the traditional way of doing things only because it saves them from getting fired. Academia is the classic example of that, right? I'm not a fan of academia, not a fan. And so because I'm not a fan of academia, that's basically what happens, right? You just have people who whose whole careers are based off of spewing the same garbage again and again and again. Same thing happens with tea, right? And same thing happens with wine. Same thing happens with everything in the world. It's all the same process. And so somebody who really, 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 really knows the traditional way of making things will do that, and then they'll come back to their own space, and then they'll create their own sort of edge, their own, their own way of doing things that nobody else does to create their own sort of flavor. And for me, what I have is sort of the relationships I have with the farmers, but also, what I bring into the tea. What I bring into the tea is very much a very unique, like my twist on it is bringing clean, high quality tea for an affordable price. And I try really hard to do that. The shaking of whites, the process you just described, etc. Yes, yeah, for sure. Did I miss this? And you can mix in a bit of Taiwanese oolong to say, well, technically it's a Taiwanese to an extent. Yes. Actually, that is something that I had a very, 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 I think I did a live stream on it before, but I'm at the point now where I get so angry when I taste those teas, because I know that they're mixed. I know that they're mixed together, and I can actually pull out the leaves and tell the difference. But thankfully, I don't drink very much of those teas anymore. Not a death roast fan. Listen, if I had Chinese death roasts, I bet you it would probably be a lot different than Taiwanese death roasts. Because remember, Taiwanese teas in general are softer, lighter, smoother. Their notes are higher up. Like, that's how they're designed. But Chinese teas are very, very different in the sense that they are actually after body feel, like heicha, right? Like the bricks of heicha. You're not doing that for taste, that's not what you're doing that for. You're doing it for body feel and general things. So Chinese death roasts are different, but Taiwanese, absolutely not. I can't stand that crap. I can't. It's not good. Yeah. And it's 10 o'clock. They're all coming in for totally normal, nothing special. Yes. So he was going too slow. So now he had to throw in the afterburner to land. Will the Hackastyle teas be available again? Yes, absolutely. I just have to go and get some more. And there should be some. Are they all sold out, all three? There should be a couple. I think I've got a couple in there. I think I've got a couple laying around. Gotta look at them this time. Usually they're higher out of frame. Yeah, well, they're flying by today. But again, nothing special. Very, very normal for this time of the year. But yes, I got to get in. I'll get in some more Hackastyle teas for sure. Now, this competition tea, last year the competition tea was like a better version of the golden Muza. It was more luxurious. This is a different beast altogether. And like I said, it's got heavily roasted blueberries in this tea this time. And I'm going to get some because It's fun, right? It's fun. Now it'll probably sit there for a long time because we're getting into the time of year where people do not buy roasted teas anymore. And fair enough, right? Why would you buy roasted teas when the weather's getting hotter? But I will still get some in because I know, people like the competition teas and that type of stuff, and and it'll work that way. It's always fun. You got to explain. There's no worries each time. Well, I have boomer parents, right? Boomer parents. That's, you got to be careful. Got to be careful. They watch CNN and they get hyperventilate. Is there any news about the potter you worked with? Any new tea pets? No new tea pets, but yeah, I was going to talk about that. I have 17 of these that I picked out, and they will be on the site probably after the sale, because I don't want to be. It's just me, and so when the teapots come up, it's such a pain because I have to do them all. Like, it takes forever to do it, and I don't make very much money from the teapots, and it's a gamble, right? So I have to send the teapots around the world, and I'm like, Jayo guys, like, do it, make it, please. And but they will be for sale after the sale. So the sale, again, 20% off everything is like next week. So 20% off of everything is next week. So is it next week? No, not quite next week. No, I guess it is next week. Next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But they'll be, I'm going to probably get them next week. And then I'll take some pictures of them. Oh, it's such a pain, guys. The teapots, because I have to take a picture of each teapot. I have to make sure it matches. Somebody orders, electric 1A, and then I have to go find it, make sure it matches and then pack it all up and send it. But I'll do it. People have been asking for a long time. But there will be 17 of the teapots, right? 17 of the teapots. And so there will be 17 of the teapots, and they're all, various versions of this. And I'll start putting some pictures of the teapots out there as well. But various versions of this. There's some taller ones, some rounder ones. There are electric roasted and fire roasted teapots. I got to fly over there and help pack. Well, it's a little cramped space right now, but I'm hoping that I'm early to everything, basically. And so I'm waiting for all the sort of the rents and the property prices to go down in Taiwan. And so I'm probably going to move in probably next year to a bigger place. But who knows? Maybe I'll do the equivalent. What can I do? The equivalent of woofing. People can come and pack tea for a couple of weeks and get a free place to stay in Hualien. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But like I said, I've become an absolute hermit. I don't do tours anymore. I don't see anybody. I spend time with my family. I pack tea. I drink tea. And on my back porch, I'm serenaded by the mediocre erhu, which I'm sure you can hear right now. And I drink tea and talk to my phone and talk to tea nerds all over the world. And I'm keeping that for the next little while. Although next year I'll probably change it, because my wife is starting to get worried about me. I'm enjoying this lifestyle too much. And I can understand that, right? I can definitely understand that, why my wife would be worried about that. Although I am enjoying this lifestyle a little bit too much. All right, let's jump into this one, and we'll talk about this, and then we're I think I had an interesting bird call earlier on the stream. Yes, the birds, it's springtime, there's birds around. And but unfortunately there was this big, beautiful camphor tree that got knocked down in the typhoons last year. So the owl that usually lives there has moved sort of down the street. Kind of disappointing. There's usually like right here, you can hear this. As soon as the sun goes down, like, woo, woo, woo. this time of year. Anyways, whatever. Sounds like a dream. Well, I mean, it's with everything. Right now, I'm enjoying it, but it's definitely not something for everybody, right? And everybody has to find their own way. The reason that I'm enjoying it right now is because I know for a fact that I earned it. I earned it. And so I'm enjoying it. But if I do this too long, that's no good. I got to go out. I got to go out and talk to people and be a part of society more than just talking to my phone. It's okay to be a hermit. Bees are good company. Yes. Well, they're doing okay. I only have one hive left. Don't even get me started on the heart-wrenching stories of my bees on the back porch. But anyways, they're still here, and I'm happy they're still here. So here we go. Let's try this one. And this is a fascinating tea. Oh. I'm sure there's somebody out there who knows what that is. I don't. I've told that story before. Basically, what this tea is, it's a faux show, right? So it's the Buddha's hand. Super hard tea to make. But he made it a couple years ago, and it wasn't the best weather. He's been aging it for about 3 or 4 years, or more than that, 5 years. And then he recently just sort of re-roasted it to bring it up and to see if he can pull out some of the beautiful flavors that you can only get with the faux show. And now that I'm drinking it sort of concentrated like this, it's super interesting, but I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. And the reason I'm not going to get it is because the background sort of in the back, the up front is gorgeous, really interesting, but then the background going back into the back of it just doesn't have what I really, really want in a tea, which is it sort of drops off. And the reason it drops off is because it's a lower elevation tea, and there just wasn't, whatever was going on for that time period, it just wasn't there. Hermit honey. Thankfully, there's not a lot of worries about sending tea around the world. If I start sending honey around the world, my guess is there's some horrible bureaucracy that I'm going to have to get involved in, and that is not something that I am interested in at all. Also, too, unfortunately, the honey around here is, in the springtime, it's actually pretty good, but it's just not very good honey. It's just not, it doesn't taste very good. Springtime, it's okay. But then after the springtime, there's a lot of really weird flowers that taste terrible, and allergens and, and like, as a beekeeper, there's certain parts of history that I find quite fascinating. There's a certain type of flower called I can picture the flower. Anyways, there's a famous period of history, sort of a Roman time period, where there was a retreating army, and the retreating army left a bunch of honey as like a present to the army that was coming in. But that honey was made with a certain type of flower, which is, I forget the name of it. Starts with an H. It's not hibiscus, but anyways, it'll come to me as soon as the live stream ends. But it's quite a poisonous flower. And so if you eat this honey, you'll actually get like dysentery and diarrhea, and it'll make you it makes you really, really sick. And anyways, what's the point? The point is that I'm pretty sure the bees go to some of those types of flowers in the fall here. And I've tried some of the honey, and it was a reaction. It was a reaction. It was not something that I would recommend. But anyways, last call for questions. There's a bird, you can hear it jumping around on the roof up there. To recap, this tea, which is, actually, I'm going to drink some of it right now. Got too excited there. As this cools down and as the flavors meld, This is awesome. This is actually really, really good. Which tells me in about a month's time, this tea is going to be spectacular. Wow, that's really good. I'm sweet and orangey and malty. This is going to work, but not yet. I got to leave it 6 months, stick it in a sort of a not cool, not hot area, and let it sit. All the flavors got to meld together. But wow, that's going to be really good. Awesome. That makes me happy. That really does make me happy. Anyways, this of course is the Luye Red Orange Blossom. Then over here, yeah, it's okay. But it's don't need to get it. I got the red oolong. This is just gorgeous, of course, right? So this here is the Orange Blossom. What do I call it? Orange Blossom Milk Oolong, I believe I call it. But that's this year's. I'll have it for sale for the sale next week. So next week is the big sale. I'll have it for sale then, and it works really well. Then this is the sort of the competition tea from Mutsa. I'm going to ask how much it is and get some. I think this is third place. And it's very, very good. And then this is the Faux Show. Snow Pick Faux Show is what he's calling it. It's okay. But see, keep going, you keep going. The upfront is really interesting, kind of nice. Then you keep going, and it's so hard to get a Faux Show with legs. It's so hard to have flavor in the background. Oh, there's the transport train or plane coming through with spare parts, and yeah, I think that's it. Last call for any questions about anything we've covered on the live stream today. Wow. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome. As a cold brew, I bet you that'd be pretty amazing as well. Yeah, the orange blossom oolong. I'll release it next week for the sale, but I would say this is only going to get better as those flavors meld together as well. As those flavors meld, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. But yeah, whatever. It's a good oolong. So, all right. Well, thank you for the support, guys. Hey, man, how's it going? We're just ending up, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm gonna go and I packed up a bunch of tea. I'll put it in the computer. Then I'll have some lunch, and then yeah, probably go for a walk and enjoy my afternoon. Unless more orders have already come in. But wherever in the world you happen to be, I certainly hope you have an amazing morning, evening, night. Sleep well. Have a wonderful day today or tomorrow, or today and tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next live stream.